Meigs and Money, episode 2. Here we are.
Yes,
Back
sir.
by popular demand. Josh, Megan, G Money. Let's get right into it.
Back and better than ever. And sorry for the delay, guys. You know, we had a lot of things going on, but we're back.
Not much has really changed though. You still don't know sports. Your teams are still really bad.
I
Braves.
must say, since like the last time I was here, I must say like being a sports fan for certain teams is like really a humbling experience, especially Clemson, the Atlanta Braves, and a few other teams. But we're not going to speak on that right now. But you know, we got a lot to talk about today.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm a huge Phillies fan. Grew up with Bryce Harper, and watching him beat Gary's team, the Atlanta Braves, very easily was a lot of fun the last couple days. So let's get right into postseason baseball, shall we? NLD or the division series is all done now.
Yep, it is.
None of the good teams won, right? All the bandwagon Oriole fans in the city of Baltimore, hopefully as a whole, was very humbled at what happened to the Orioles. I knew it was going to happen, right? Because they have no experience in the postseason. It's not the 60s anymore. The Baltimore Orioles aren't a good team. Not now, at least.
I mean, I think there was a lot of regular season warriors, you know, like i.e. my team, the Braves. We went in hot and we got full of ourselves, and I don't think we really came out prepared. I don't think we were hungry enough like how the Phillies were. And granted to the Phillies, you guys came out and you dominated in all like phases of the game, coaching, base running, everything. It was just a beautiful series by you guys. And even in that game that we won, you guys still outplayed us. If it wasn't for that one mistake by, I'm guessing who it was, Trey Turner or somebody, we probably would have lost that game too. So,
the throwing area. Trey Turner. I appreciate the kind words, Gary, especially when I get kind words from a guy like you who I never get kind words from.
You don't deserve it.
But Rob Thompson made a mistake, right? Leaving Zach Wheeler out there. And then on top of that, our leadoff hitter's fat. Kyle Schwarber's fat, right? Yes. We have a fat leadoff hitter. Mm-hmm. He gets on base, okay, but he can't run. We could have scored. I mean,
but his power, that's why he's there. He's
his ability powerful to get on base. He gets on base, but he's still fat. And I grew up watching baseball with speed demons.
Oh, really? Who?
Speed demons. Growing up, I mean, Trey Turner on the Nats? When I was growing up a Nats fan, you had...
We can't confirm that.
Even in that division, I mean, D. Gordon for the Marlins, you grow up, you have like speed demons on first base who get on base and go around the bases. Now, the game, I guess, is just evolving to a point where fat people could be leadoff.
Yeah.
And shout out fat people, man. You guys really are starting to be able to do more. But nonetheless, we got the next round. I've been saying it since the start. I've been telling you I thought the Phillies and the Texas Rangers were going to go to the World Series. Rangers obviously are going to have a really tough task against the cheaters known as the Astros. Mm-hmm. However, dude, they got veteran pitching. Nathan Eovaldi is starting to play well. Corey Seager is a star. They got that 21-year-old kid in the outfield. Blanket at his name right now, but he's 21 and he's a power hitter. That's cool. Why can't they beat the Astros, right? You know this. I mean, the same teams don't go every year, especially in baseball.
But the Astros somehow, they always do. And, like, even granted they had some cheating problems and cheating scandals, but I think they just have the pieces there right now to, like, get the job done at any given point. Like we said, the Rangers, they got by with the Orioles. They're lucky, okay? Orioles, they weren't like a veteran experienced team. The Rangers, they aren't a veteran experienced team. They took that. I'm not gonna lie to you. If what's his name? DeGrom never got hurt like early on in the season, they would have had a legit shot. Like that pitching rotation they have is great.
I agree. Getting Scherzer was even though he's older. I mean, Scherzer helps. Speaking of veteran teams, can we talk about the dumpster fire that happened in Los Angeles? What happened to the Dodgers, dude?
I think the Dodgers, there is some very key manager changes coming to the Dodgers. Every year it's like they're always hyped up, and you know, they got Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, who was like a candidate for MVP at one point, and they just couldn't get the job done.
Mookie Betts is like what, 5'6", 5'7"?
5'6", 5'7".
That's cool, man. Like, imagine being short and being really good at something.
But I think
Shout out short people.
Going forward, these MLB teams, they're going to start to play for the wild card instead of division. Because as we've seen with the past 2 years, the Dodgers and Braves, they get out to these race and run starts. They get 99 to 100 wins every year, and then they get to the postseason, they get cold. That 5-day stretch where you have off, it's hard to tell a baseball player, hey, you off on Sunday, and now you got to go back again and play next Saturday. Like, you know, you get in a routine of, like, constantly hitting and, like, knowing your keys and everything. So that's why I think in the future, personally, as a Braves fan, I would not want to win the division. That may sound crazy to all of you, but it's proven that if you win early and you have that rest, you don't do good in the postseason. This year, all the major teams were combined 1 for 12. I'm telling you that right. 1 for 12 in the postseason. Dodgers, Rays. Matter of fact, the Rays. We could talk about the Rays. The Rays are a big disappointment to the season because they started off, 27-6 at one point? They were running away with everything. They didn't win their division. They ended up as a wild card team, and they lost. They didn't get a game. So I commend my Braves for even buying a game against you guys. We had heart. We showed a lot of fight. Not everybody. Austin Riley showed a lot of fight. Everybody else was just trash. Ozuna, he's gone. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, he's awful.
Yeah.
He needs to stick to drinking or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Send him back to Dominican Republic. I don't know. So if he's not from there, I'm sorry. But he's just not good for the team. I can't really blame Acuna for that, but it's points where it's like, okay, you did all this in the regular season just not to, like, show up at all. Like, nothing.
You touched on it, though. Like, you're not right about a lot, but you are right about this, to where the new format in the MLB is I don't like it, dude. The 3 wild card teams, that takes away having the one game and having the one game matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take it a step further. I just don't like the new game of baseball, period. I don't like the pitch clock. I don't like the
it's
banning
so much
on
faster,
the shift.
Man.
But it's not baseball, man. Like, growing up, you got these pitchers throwing over 4, 5, 6 times. Now you're doing a 2 throw over max. It's not what I grew up watching. It's not what generations before us grew up watching. And now they want more offense, which I get, because baseball is a dying sport as it is, to where, like, it's hard to sit through a baseball game. A full baseball game, it's hard to sit through. So when you try to have pitch clocks to speed the game up, and then the 2 minutes between half innings, okay, I get it, but it's not the game. And again, I've said this to you many times. Rob Manfred is a terrible commissioner. So I blame Rob Manfred. I really do.
He supports the new playoff format, by the way. He supports it. And I personally support it.
That doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. The fact that you and Rob Manfred, boy, does that sound like a dream team.
Because think about this, though. You're like at a Cincinnati Reds game in the nosebleed section because you couldn't afford the first behind the home.
I actually
seats.
had really great. I had great seats.
He was up in the nosebleed seats. He was not like in a club spot or anything.
I saw Ellie De La Cruz hit a cycle against your Braves.
Did you? Where? Like way up in the nosebleeds?
We were in. We were down the third baseline. Third base. We were second deck.
Uh-huh.
Second deck, overseeing, like, between left field, third base, second deck. It's cool. I don't need to sit. I don't need to sit low on baseball games, man. I had a great trip to Cincinnati. Got Skyline Chili. But got to spend time with family, my grandfather. We had fun in Cincinnati. So.
But with all that being said, though, how long did that game take? At least 2 hours max, 2 hours and 30 minutes.
No, dude.
How long was that game?
It was like I forget the score, but it was probably around 3:15.
But just take all the new MLB changes away. Imagine how much longer you would have been out there. Imagine sitting in Atlanta on a summer day and it's like 98 degrees outside.
So let me tell you something about that. My grandfather is old. Like, this guy is old. And I don't have anything against old people, but one thing about old people is they love the heat, right? They always talk about how their bones are used to it. So we were there for 2 games. 2 games, I believe. We were there for 2 games. Mm-hmm. 3 games. Sorry, 3 games. And 2 out of the 3 games, it was probably over 90, 95 degrees. And my grandfather, being the brainiac he is in a jacket and pants. And I'm thinking he's in a sauna suit about to go wrestle. I'm like, are you about to hit the mats? And he's like, he's from New York, and he's talking, well, no, it's good for your bones. And it's like, that's cool. It's not good for my bones. It's too hot. I want to be in the shade.
Yeah, comfortable.
Right. But I get what you're saying. Like sitting out there for 3.5 hours when it's hot versus 3.5 hours when it's dark out, a night game. I understand that. But it was a high scoring game. And that goes back to what my new problem with baseball is they don't defend the pitchers, right? So it's an offensive friendly game. Gary, there's no 3 up, 3 out. There are fewer 3 up, 3 down innings now than before. The days of the pitcher's duel when you're watching a 1-0 or 2-1 game, I personally, as a guy who used to pitch, I like that over a game that's high scoring.
Why? It's more excitement. It's more like adrenaline rushing. Think about that. If our game was just a slugfest pitchers duel, like nobody would have loved that in Philly. Everybody loved Castellanos blasting off 2 home runs.
Castellanos, man. Yeah. Talk to him,
and
Nick.
Then Bryce Harper, he just blasting off on us too, like pause. But still, everybody likes these high-scoring, fast-paced games, and I like it too because you can't just sit out there. You paid all your hard-earned money, even though you don't pay taxes, but you pay all this money to go out there and watch a slugfest, a pitchers duel. You don't want to see that.
Well, here's the thing, Gary, and I don't know if the people know this, but you have the attention span of an 11-year-old, and
false.
And my cousin Jake's 11 years old, and his attention span's okay. You guys are probably about the same. So for a guy like you to want to be kept on the edge of your seat the whole entire time, totally understand that, right?
Yeah.
But that's just not how I remember baseball, man, and that's why I'm enjoying like a guy like Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola going out there. 5-6 pitch at bats, making these hitters think, and then getting the strikeouts. And I like low scoring games versus the high scoring games for me in baseball. But real quick, to wrap up baseball, give me a final World Series prediction.
This is going to pain me to say, but biasly, I would want the Diamondbacks to get there. And
they're not going to do it, though. You know they're not going to do it.
But if I had to say right now, I would say Phillies Astros rematch, and I'm taking the Phillies in 6. But I'm gonna tell you guys one thing though. Both of these championship series, they're going 6 games, like minimum. I can see the Astros and Rangers going 7 games. And if you guys come out there and use all your adrenaline on us and then take the D-backs like not seriously, you guys can get upset, and I guarantee you can.
We're not going to be upset by a team with.
They're hungry. They're you from last year.
I respect Evan Longoria. Mm-hmm. As a guy who's been around for a while.
Ketel Marte.
Right.
Corbin Carroll.
You're right, dude. They have experience. Corbin Carroll's up and coming, obviously. It's going to be a good series. Madison Bumgarner's there. Mm-hmm. I'm expecting he and Bryce to go at it. That'll be cool. So you're saying Phillies Astros. I'm saying Phillies Rangers, and then I as well also have the Phillies winning.
Well, I don't have the Phillies winning at all. I have the Astros winning that game in 6.
Sorry, Gary, you didn't clarify.
My bad. I'm clarifying right now. The Phillies will be there, but they will not win the World Series. Okay. Astros in 6 games, baby.
Well, Gary, to no surprise.
Kyle Tucker, stand up.
Well, Gary, to no surprise, we disagree. So, all right, well, that's enough baseball. Let's move to the NFL. Cowboys are terrible.
We all knew that, though.
It's fun. Why do they keep getting primetime games? Is it the whole America's team garbage, or
it's Jerry Jones selling them false hope, and it's a marketing tool that he can use to their advantage every single year? Jerry Jones doesn't give a crap about championships. He had that already. All these Cowboys fans, they're delusional, they're crazy, and you know what that is to Jerry Jones? It's just money, another profit. Okay, of course. What do we all enjoy most on a Sunday? To sit down, watch the Cowboys lose, America wins, essentially. So why not put the biggest game at night? And, the people that have, besides Taylor Swift, the team that has the most draw, the team that has the most draw right now is the Dallas Cowboys. They always will because we like to laugh at their pain and we like to laugh at their failure. And I'm loving it right now. Like Dak Prescott, he's a fraud. He's on his way out of there, honestly. And I think if Jerry Jones... The only way, personally, I'm sorry to say this, the only way that the Cowboys win a Super Bowl is Jerry Jones, he dies. I'm sorry. It's just as simple as that. If he's gone and we have new management, they'll win another Super Bowl. But far as that defense, they're terrible. They beat up on Daniel Jones and a bag of chips and Zach Milson. Okay, good. You haven't beat anybody. The 49ers, they went out there and they exposed them. And I must tell you, being an Eagles fans, the 49ers didn't look that good, impressive to me either.
Gary,
they can be exposed.
Gary, you guys don't look good ever, right?
How?
Like
How can you
guys let Washington score 31 on you guys.
A division game.
You blame the refs.
It was
right?
the refs. That was a poorly officiated game.
You guys didn't look special against the Rams.
The Rams are the Rams. They had Cooper Kupp coming back, who's like
Cooper Kupp worked you guys.
Yeah, he did work us, and
Cooper Kupp had a field day against you boys, right?
And he's gonna have a field day against your guys too coming up. Or don't you got these guys next Sunday?
Yeah, but we're also the Steelers. Like, I don't sit here and make it seem like we are this great organization. However, when you just try to discredit and disrespect the 49ers,
they're not good. I mean, people may say I'm crazy, but like, tell me.
No, they do say that. Don't get me wrong, but come on, Gary, you got to be realistic here.
I'm being realistic. Hold on, we can break it down right now. The 49ers to last week, they've played one quality team, and that was the Dallas Cowboys. We both played the Rams, which we put up a fight against the Rams. They played the Cardinals. They struggled in that game. Not everybody's going to tell you that.
Everyone struggles against the Cardinals, man.
Okay. And then they played the Steelers. Granted, you guys probably can't even score like 5 points if you had to. Just saying.
It's tough. Like, this last game against the Ravens, when the score was like 11-5 or something along the lines, it's like, hey, maybe we should get a new offensive coordinator. Maybe Kenny Pickett. I don't need to talk about the Steelers because it's honestly not worth the breath. I'm happy we beat the Ravens. Again, I hate the city of Baltimore. No one in Maryland knows how to drive, and on top of not knowing how to drive, the only thing that entire state has is the Baltimore Aquarium. Beautiful aquarium.
Seafood, too. Seafood.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, I'll give you that. I'm not the biggest crabs guy, but yeah, I'll give them seafood, and I'll give them the Baltimore Aquarium. Outside of that, I have nothing nice to say about Baltimore, the fans, the sports teams, any of that.
But real quick, harping on an AFC, how far do you think Tua can take this Miami offense? Is it just another fluky year, or is it
playoff win? Playoff win. He'll get a playoff win, but I know playoff win. They're not going to win the division. I somehow think Josh Allen's going to win the division.
They just lost to the Jags. Come on.
That's fine, dude. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. It's just like what we were just talking about with the MLB, right? Like the Orioles won 101 games. How'd that work? They're on the couch right now.
I mean, the Bills do this every year, and how did that turn out for them? They do this every year.
It's experience.
Experience?
It's experience.
They've been there 5 years.
So, I can't stand you guys, right? Like the Philadelphia Eagles, that stupid QB sneak where
push.
Yeah, when Jalen Hurts in his 600-pound squat just drive his legs and move. I genuinely cannot stand that move, and I can't stand your guys' team. However, you guys were just at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. We're going to be back there, too.
No, I didn't say that, Gary. I'm
letting the world know we're going to be back there.
You guys are going to go to the conference championship game.
Okay.
And then lose to the 49ers.
Yeah, that's funny. The same 49ers team that we put 38 points on last year?
Well, that was last year.
Okay.
Right?
So did we get better or worse from last year?
Honestly, Gary, worse.
Wow. How?
Worse.
Where have we gotten worse?
Gary, hey, we gotta talk about NFL. I mean, this guy talks about the Eagles for an hour. I mean, this guy. Can we talk about anything else? But I'll answer your question. Where have you guys got worse? Pass coverage.
False.
Pass coverage.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts can't get everyone the ball. You guys have divas on your team.
I mean,
when I watch the Philadelphia Eagles play football, here's the thing, you guys. When I watch the Philadelphia Eagles play football, I feel like I'm watching an episode of The Real Housewives. And this is and here's what I mean by that. It's all me. Give me the football. Dallas Goedert doesn't get the ball, he cries. A.J. Brown doesn't get the ball, he complains. Devontae Smith doesn't get the ball, he gets sad. Right? You're not going to be able to manage all those personalities, Gary.
It doesn't matter.
Kyle Shanahan, he has a system out there.
Really? With who? Debo, who's crying? He's always attacking opposing teams? He's the biggest crybaby.
The super gremlin, Debo Samuel, right here from right here in South Carolina, Debo has a plan.
To what, losing the conference championship every year?
No, he's going to go to the Super Bowl. He'll go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if he beats – I don't know who I have on the AFC yet.
I'm going with the Dolphins, but
I'm sure you are, but you got to remember Tua has more brain damage than
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, right?
That's sad to say, but yeah.
No, it's true. I'm happy. I didn't even have to say it, right? So when you have a guy with as much brain damage as the president, Joe Biden can't lead the country. How could Tua lead the Dolphins to a Super Bowl?
Mike McDaniel, he's the X Factor. Great guy.
But Mike McDaniel is really good. I'll give you that. He's cool. Now that he's out of AA, he's cool. But I don't know, man. I'm holding out as a Steelers fan. It hurts that I have to say this, but I think Joe Burrow's gonna win our division.
Oh my God.
Bengals are gonna come back. Sadly, it happens all the time. I don't have a Super Bowl prediction yet, but let's talk more about these matchups. I mean, Russell Wilson, to no surprise, went out there and lost yesterday. He seems to be good at that. Do you think Sean Payton finally gets to pick his future quarterback this year, or are they going to keep rocking with him because of the money?
I kind of feel like AB on this. I don't think Sean Payton is a good coach anymore. When
you say AB,
Antonio Brown, my bad.
I didn't know it. I'm a Steelers guy. I didn't know Antonio Brown's opinion still mattered. Did he come out and say that?
I mean, it does. He has CTE, but I'm with him on that. But I think Sean Payton, at some point, he has to sit there and look at it. He's like Mike McCarthy. Like all these old guys in the early 2000s, they had these great franchise quarterbacks, and now they're trying to come back in and get like these pick-me-up guys. It's not working.
I thought you were going to say, when you were talking about Mike McCarthy, I thought you were going to say early 200s. I was like, more like early 400s. That's a fat man, dude.
But I say they're
going to... a lot of cheeseburgers.
They can't trade Russ because his contract is untradeable.
Deshaun, would you do a 1-for-1 Deshaun and Russ?
No.
Aren't they getting paid the same?
They are getting paid the same, but I would not trade Deshaun Watson for Russell Wilson.
Is there a drop in skill level between the two?
It is. I wouldn't trade Russell Wilson for a bag of Clorox wipes.
Oh, wow.
And that's simple as that.
Okay. No, that's noted. That's good to know. What other matchups really have your attention this week in NFL? Anthony Richardson's on the IR, I heard.
No surprise. He's taking too many hits. But the game that is standing out to me so far, which is sad, but Ravens and Titans. Early game, 9:30 a.m. across the pond.
Are you going to wake up for that?
Probably not, because you have the Tennessee Titans. Every week is just run. Like they'll win a game.
Have you seen Derrick Henry?
Yeah, he's regressing.
That's a large man, dude.
He's regressing sadly behind that O-line.
And he went to Alabama too, so he probably eats a lot of food.
That game stands out to me, and the Chargers and Cowboys. That's probably going to be the game of the week.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be funny because as much as I know the two of us cannot stand the Cowboys, with me being from DC and you just loving the Eagles and can't stand the fans. Justin Herbert's a fraud, dude.
What? How? How can you sit there and say that?
Justin Herbert's a fraud.
His coach is an idiot.
And I agree with that. That's why. Maybe you could blame Brandon. The fact that Brandon Staley still has a job in the NFL beats me. I couldn't agree. I agree with Brandon Staley being a fraud. With that being said, at some point, you gotta work around that, man.
Well, the thing is, every year he's putting up these big numbers, but his targets are getting hurt. Mike Williams tore his ACL. He's always hurt. Keenan Allen hamstring. Keenan Allen ankle. Keenan Allen back. Keenan Allen this, that, the third. I would sit here and lay my life down on the line and say I would take Justin Herbert over Joe Burrow any day, and I can argue with anybody over that. And if you don't think that, you're crazy. Joe Burrow is the biggest fraud out here.
He's hurt.
He's always hurt. He's always hurt.
Gary, he's trying to, here's the deal. Joe Burrow, got paid that big contract, and he wants to be a team leader.
I think his bank robbery.
He wants to play through it. I respect that. Even as a Steelers fan, I have nothing but nice things to say about Joe Burrow.
But my thing is, common sense, hindsight is 20/20. But if your $235 million quarterback, whatever the number is, if he's hurt, why put him out there and risk that? Like, what sense does that make?
No, it's not. I from that I understand that. But if a guy shows up to work and says I could play, okay, that's fine. That's just my 2 cents on it. Other matchups, 49ers are going to destroy the Browns. I think we agree on that. Mm-hmm. Saints beat the Texans, I assume.
That's sneaky. This Texans teams, they're very feisty.
It's no secret I can't stand Derek Carr, but when Derek Carr is playing, Derek Carr has been contributing, man.
And I vouched for him the first time on this podcast saying that he was a top 15 quarterback and a future Hall of Famer, and all he did was just make me look like a jackass. But
Right. I understand that.
CJ Stroud is going to be Rookie of the Year to no surprise.
That's not true.
He is. Who's going to be Rookie of the Year right now?
That's not true. In the AFC?
No. Rookie of the Year.
Gary, he's not even the best rookie on his team.
Who's the best rookie on
his team?
Will
Anderson.
Wow.
Will Anderson Jr. is a way better contributor than CJ Stroud.
What? How do you... This guy has thrown the most passes without an interception as a rookie. Like, he's in the numbers with... not Peyton
That's
Manning,
great. When you have D. Pierce running the football, you don't need to throw the ball that much.
No, bro. That's so
Will
false.
Anderson Jr. was the best pick of that round of the draft for the Texans, and you're seeing it on the field.
CJ Stroud was the best pick. Honestly, if I'm a Panthers fan, I would be so sick right now because you had CJ Stroud right there in your grasp and you took Bryce Young. Sorry. We'll give Bryce Young, 2 or 3 more years, and he's going to be out of there. You're going to be looking for your next quarterback probably in 2 years.
Before we get to college football, I have one more NFL question for you. So I'm looking at a line right now between the Bengals and the Seahawks, and the Bengals are favored by 3 points. Your thoughts on the Seahawks? I got family out in the state of Washington that are big Seahawk fans, and what do you? They're 3-1. They're doing something right.
To me, the Seahawks are like that second tier team in the NFC. They're good, but they're just missing something like that. They have a young defense. Geno Smith, he's great. He's a great game manager. But it's something that they're missing, But they have the pieces to, like, beat up on a 49ers team or, like, beat these. I
don't know why do you always have to say the 49ers?
Because they're my biggest enemy. They're my biggest op.
I thought the Cowboys were.
No, the Cowboys are third tier now. They don't even belong in a conversation with the top 2 teams in the NFC.
Okay, so they're top 2 team in the NFC. That's a nice thing to say about the 49ers, Gare.
Yeah. We're right? number 1, they're 2. But back to the task.
Go ahead.
The Seahawks, to me, they're going to be like a 10-7 team. That they're going to be a fringe playoff team. I think they make the playoffs ultimately as a wild card, and I think they can make some noise. They can honestly shock a few teams. DK Metcalf, he's having a good season. Jackson Smith and Jig, but he's a great rookie that they picked up in a slot there. And I'm loving Kenneth Walker, even though his numbers don't show for it, but he's a tough runner, man. He'll get you in the end zone, tough short yardage guy. And they have a great defense with Tariq Woolen, and I think he's gonna have a tough battle on his hands this week though with Jamar Chase. But I think he's up for the task, and I think these guys are gonna be a fringe playoff team. They can maybe get 1 win in the playoffs. So, but if I was a betting man, which I am,
this week, so you're a betting man this week. How's it looking for the matchup for them this week?
I would take the Seahawks +3.
Okay.
Joe Burrow isn't healthy. Seahawks are coming off a bye. They look fresh. They're rejuvenated, and I think they can get the job done. Until Joe Burrow goes out there and puts together 2 complete games in a row, then I'm not betting on the Bengals ever again. Ever.
Okay, that's a good take. Well, then, all right. Well, good, man. We talked about baseball and we talked about the NFL. Mm-hmm. Before we move to college football, let's just prove that we're not ESPN and let's actually acknowledge other sports.
Yeah.
Basketball preseason starts. That's cool, right? I'm sure people care about that. And then the NHL regular season for hockey just started.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. All right, well, college football, let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Big game. Biggest game of the week, in my opinion, is going down Saturday, 3:30 p.m., live on the West Coast. It's going to be University of Washington versus Oregon. Mm-hmm. I'm rocking with University of Washington, dude. I'm sorry.
Too, surprisingly. Me and you agree on something. But
right. Shout out my cousin Keith. Huge UW guy. The guy
Who the hell is Keith?
My cousin. He actually never went to University of Washington, but he's this big University of Washington guy. So I feel like it's in my best interest to rock with the boys this week. What are they? The Huskies?
Yeah, the
Washington Huskies. Let's roll with the Washington Huskies. Michael Penix Jr. Is he as good as Jordan Travis? Absolutely not.
You're crazy.
But he can outplay Bo Nix.
He can.
I think he's going to outplay Bo Nix this week.
The biggest factor in that game is going to be the weather. And
give me a break. All right, Bob Carpenter. Relax.
It's going to be the weather because it's going to be raining. And I think that in a perfect game, he can outdo.
Where do you get this stuff from?
Look it up. Weather Channel. I looked it up on the Weather Channel. Okay.
The weather, Gary, just because it's in Seattle, it's not England. It's not going to rain all the time.
What does it always do in Seattle? Rains, right? Okay.
What if it doesn't rain? Does it just switch the whole outcome?
No, I still think that they're going to go out there and dominate that Oregon defense. It's going to be a shootout, a high-scoring game.
Gee, a college football game, a shootout. That happens all the time. It's annoying, dude.
Yeah, but
play defense.
It's the Pac-12. They don't play defense in the Pac-12.
That's your division. You were trying to tell me the other day that the Pac-12 is this great division.
And we can talk on that real quick.
No,
I think,
go ahead.
Shout out to my buddy Trey Pitts, but Trey Pitts, you're not going to like this one. The Pac-12 right now is better than the SEC.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's not true.
That is true. They have the better quarterbacks.
This guy.
Oh my God.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I need to do a better job of correcting you.
They have more teams ranked in the top 25. I can tell you right now, Oregon can go down there and beat Auburn. Oregon can go beat LSU. Washington can go beat LSU. Texas A&M, they're trash this year. It's sad. The SEC East is dominating the SEC, and it's probably going to be Georgia again versus probably Alabama. And you know who's going to win that matchup? Probably Georgia. But to say that the SEC is this top-tier conference this year is a lie. It's false. I would take the Pac-12 any day as far as quarterback talent and as far as offense.
Okay. So, my response. Oregon so far has 5 wins. Two of the teams that they beat, Portland State and Hawaii.
Okay.
Wow. Impressive. Real nail biters. One of them, Oregon scored 81 points. The other one, they won by 45 points. Wow. Very impressive. Now, let's go to a team, Texas A&M, who's lost twice, and that isn't ranked. Shout out. I still like Texas A&M, though. Texas A&M went down to the wire with Alabama, lost by 6 points, and then they lost to Miami, which they were favored to win. But again, ACC is not good this year. Still rock with the ACC, man.
ACC is actually surprisingly better than what it is in recent years.
That's not true.
Louisville, North Carolina, Florida State.
I'm just happy you said Florida State, man.
And think about this. You can have an undefeated ACC team not make the championship game because you know why? They effed up the divisions and now it's just all one big conference. So
I don't have a problem with that because that whole what is it, the Coastal Conference?
Coastal and Atlantic.
I never liked that. Honestly,
because you always was owned by Clemson, but
there were years where you guys were good. Don't get me wrong.
6 in a row, we own you. Well, we did own you. Well, we almost did beat you again, but
yeah, I mean, some stuff happened, and you were telling everyone you guys were gonna win, and you didn't. But like that part's not surprising because you're good at doing that. But we're back, man. We got our quarterback. We're going to go destroy Syracuse. That'll be cool. But I don't want to waste any time talking about that game because 18.5 points, I'll just go ahead and say it. Pound FSU's money line. If you want to do an alternate spread, maybe draw it up to like 22. It's 18.5. I would just roll with the 18.5 and just do that.
I don't know.
Honestly.
Florida State seems to play down to teams that they
We do.
blow
No,
out,
and I agree. I agree with that. But nonetheless, we have a couple more games that are important. Miami, let's talk ACC. Miami, North Carolina. I would expect North Carolina to win that game. Whether or not they cover 2.5, I could see them covering 2.5 against Miami.
They can most definitely cover that 2.5 spread.
UCLA and Oregon State.
UCLA is a feisty team, man. They have a young quarterback and they have a great, somewhat of a good defense. But I think Oregon State would, shout out the Clemson product or former Clemson product, DJ Uliungalele, if I'm pronouncing his name right.
Dude, you know what's funny? That was actually really good pronunciation. My cousin and I used to be on the phone, and we would just be like arguing the pronunciation, and I don't think we ever got better than DJ Uli 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 Uli. So you actually, that was good pronunciation. So what, you're taking Oregon State, I'm taking UCLA. And so we disagree on that.
This was a big game before, Notre Dame blew it last week, and I still don't understand how they're ranked. But hey, USC, Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame pulls that one off because they had the defense to slow down that high-octane offense of Caleb Williams, and USC is proving that they can't stop a nosebleed on defense.
That was the team that had the 3 overtimes against Arizona?
Yes. We stayed up until like 2.
Yeah, that was a late night. Yeah, dude, I'm taking Notre Dame as well. Dude, do you think people are going to watch the podcast if we keep agreeing on everything? Because, low-key...
Everything that I say makes sense.
No, I'm not saying that, but, this isn't good for our characters, the fact that we're agreeing on this podcast. But, hey, man, I got to talk to you about it. How about Coach Prime?
I love it.
Oh, my goodness.
Coming.
Why do you... Gary, what? You guys are awful.
Listen.
You guys are terrible.
How? Listen, he had 2 bad games.
Fraudulent.
Fraudulent?
Fraudulent.
That's good. Now, he turned that program around. So now they're saying they're not comfortable with 4-2.
You know how I feel about the state of Colorado. I mean, it didn't take... I mean, I could have sent... I don't know what I could have sent that wouldn't get me kicked off YouTube to stay on the podcast. But this phone right here, you could send new iPhones to Colorado and they'll all be really happy about it. So when you send a Florida State star like Dion out to Colorado, okay, they're going to be happy. That's great. He's not rebuilding the Pac-12. Pac-12 has an easier schedule. So when you go out there and win games, more Pac-12 teams are going to be ranked than more SEC teams being ranked. Bottom line, that's just how it is.
We just agree on that because I just don't think the SEC is that good this year. But to your point, everybody's falling off the hype train, but I'm still going to be riding with Coach Prime to the end, baby. We're coming, and I believe that they're going to get a good bowl game. And they're going to have a great transition to the Big 12 next year. And shockingly, they're going to put up a lot of fight with Texas next year in the Big 12. No, it's my bad. Texas is moving. So, yeah, that Big 12 conference could be theirs. Once he gets a few D linemen and a few offensive linemen, he's going to take that program to new heights. Just saying.
But my question to you is he going to stay in Colorado?
He is. I give him 2 more years, and then after his sons leave.
But Gary, that's not a lot of time. So when you say he's going to go take over,
3 years is a lot in college to rebuild a program.
But Gary, do you think the coach that comes in after him is going to be some solid guy who's going to be able to keep it going?
No, not at all. Because Coach Prime is just a star.
Right.
And, shout out, if he does leave, I think he can go to the NFL, Atlanta. Shador, Shiloh, Arthur Smith, if he doesn't do good this year, he's on his way out.
That's interesting. I mean, Gary, a team that comes to mind real quick that I could see him going to is the New England Patriots.
Oh, stop it. Come on, man.
Belichick's going to be gone, man.
Yeah, but why would they go get Coach Prime? That goes against everything that city is. Come on, let's just be honest.
What, are you trying to say something here that you don't think could be said on a podcast?
Yeah. You can read between the lines.
What, you just think for real. You're about to say Boston doesn't like black people or something?
Yeah. Bottom line, I'm not.
Nah, I mean that's
quick side note though. Quick side note: how many black stars does the Boston Celtics have other than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum?
I don't watch basketball like that. No, I mean I can answer I don't know. I mean,
Bill somebody.
Huh?
Bill somebody.
Bill who?
What's his name? Bill.
Some guy named Bill.
Bill Russell?
Bill Russell. That's
oh yeah. That was back in the '60s, and I can imagine what they were saying to him.
Props to Brandon for yeah.
I can imagine what they were saying to Bill Russell 45, 50 years ago.
No, that's interesting. The only reason why I said the Patriots just because, speaking of the Patriots, and I know we already talked about NFL, we'll keep this very quick because I don't want to go back to NFL or else I'm going to get another Eagles rant, but they suck. The Patriots look, outdated, and Mac Jones isn't the answer. So if you could do, bring Coach Prime in and he drafts his son...
The city of Boston doesn't fit Coach Prime. I'm sorry, Boston. It just doesn't. It's
okay.
Just not.
No, Gary, I don't. I'm just asking.
Yeah, no. Atlanta. Yeah. If he goes to the NFL, Atlanta, and if he goes to another college team, I think it's going to be Auburn or SMU. I can see SMU
Florida
going
State.
back to Texas.
Not Florida State. No, actually, never mind. Not Florida State. I mean, I wanted him to come home, obviously, but Auburn's good. Hugh Freeze. I like Hugh Freeze, but again, if Hugh Freeze isn't going to start winning maybe if a guy like Gary, those are two good choices. Real quick before we do our weekly parlay, I want to talk a little bit about the Prime card and UFC that's on this weekend. Fights are on this weekend. First, we got the Prime card tomorrow. KSI, Tommy Fury.
Shout out my boy Tommy Fury. He knocked out Jake Paul.
He didn't knock him. He actually beat him in a split decision. So thanks, Gary, again. Don't know what I'd do without you. And then in the co-main event, this honestly might be the highest anticipated fight of the entire year.
I don't know. I mean, but I must say this is the influencer Super Bowl.
For sure, the Prime card. Gary, I know I think that the pay-per-view tomorrow is going to do over 1 million buys. And that's a hot take. I could see this being an 1 million plus buy pay-per-view card.
But will the fights live up to the hype?
No, not at all. I mean, it's 6 3-minute rounds for the main event and co-main event, so it favors KSI, I think, because it really actually I don't know. KSI looks really good. He looks in shape, but I mean, Tommy Fury, I already bet against him once. I'm not going to bet against him again. And honestly, I'm not going to bet on that fight, period. I'll bet the over. I'll have that fight go the distance, but I'm not going to go in there and pick a winner on that fight just yet. I will tomorrow by the time we get to our watch party, right? But I want to talk about the co-main event. Dylan Dennis, man. He sold this whole entire card.
He did. Shout out to Logan Paul, but he's not the star as his brother, as far as promoting and everything. But
he's the bigger name. He's bigger.
Yeah,
than
he's
Jake,
a bigger name. But as far as fighting wise, you're not going to sit there and say, "Hey, I'm going to wake up on a Saturday morning and turn on Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis."
Right, and then, dude, on that main card, there's no a tag team boxing match.
Why?
I have never heard of that, but when I think of tag teams, I think of WWE, right? Like wrestling. But I don't think of that in boxing, so that's gonna be pretty cool. Other stars on the card: Alex Wasabi's on the card, Salt Poppy's on the card against Slim. We got some really good influencer fights tomorrow. Final predictions for that. I'll actually give predictions for the main event and co-main event. Logan Paul is gonna win a decision. He's not gonna knock Dylan out. If Dylan fights, my honest opinion, I think Dylan's going to go in there, either A, get disqualified, or B, make his entrance, get out of the ring, and then just leave. And then Mike Perry's going to come out and beat Logan Paul. Because all Dylan has to do is show up. That's it.
He still gets his bag if he shows up. He still gets his purse. Okay.
Yep, and Conor McGregor's going to be there. So you know the crowd's going to be going crazy in terms of controversy. UFC, I'm going to keep this quick. We got fight nights tomorrow. Yusuf versus Barbosa. I like Edson in that main event. I think Edson's striking's really good. Jennifer Maia, I like her against Vivian Aruo. Vivian hasn't been looking that well lately. Speaking of not looking well lately, Jonathan Martinez, Adrian Yanez. Last time we saw Adrian Yanez, he was getting knocked out at 287 by Rob Font. I expect him to rebound. And then finally, Michelle Pereira fighting at middleweight now after the sad weight cut against Wonderboy Thompson. I like him to get the job done. By decision, obviously. He won't do anything impressive. Okay. And Terrence McKinney. Shout out Terrence McKinney. Spokane, Washington. Team Pena guy. I hope he wins, but you never know with Terrence until the fight's over. He's at minus 550 right now, so I'd bet him, but you never know with him. So that's the fights we got going this weekend. With that being said, let's segue into our last segment, the Meigs and Money Weekend Parlay. Let's let you kick this off, Gary.
This one is going to hit, baby. This is going to hit. So,
by the way, it didn't hit last time because Gary tried to be a hero. So.
Jackson Dart, he blew the parlay. But let me get it pulled up here.
I could go first if you want in the meantime.
Go ahead.
I'm going to pick a rebound. I'm going to do my UFC one, and I'm going to take Terrence McKinney. I'm going to ride the Terrence McKinney money line at minus 550. That's going to be scary, obviously, because it's he's going up against an 8-1 guy in Brendan Marodi, who he's a good fighter, but Terrence McKinney, man, when he's on, and I'm expecting Terrence. I'm going to go with my Spokane guy tomorrow. And Terrence McKinney at minus 550. Go ahead, Gary.
I'm going to go with, this is a frisky game here, but I'm going to go with Missouri over Kentucky. That's my lock of the week.
Missouri over Kentucky. Okay.
College football. Saturday.
Yeah. I think that's it. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly.
Straight money line.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna take North Carolina to beat Miami. I'm gonna take the money line. I don't want to do a spread.
A little safe play.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Do you think it's safe?
Straight money line is safe. I don't know about the spread because these guys.
I'm not touching the spread.
No.
I'm not touching the spread. So Terrence McKinney for me, and then North Carolina, and then for Gary it's Missouri. And then what's your second one?
My second one right now is gonna be. I gotta pull it up. Utah money line. That's not a flashy game. They play Cal, but Utah money line is a nice safe lock for you guys. And if you want to get frisky with it, I would say take Tennessee -3 against Texas A&M, and I would take LSU to cover that 11.5 against Auburn.
Okay.
Lock to the week.
Okay, that's a lot of locks for a weekend parlay. I mean, are we just throwing random stuff out now? Because I don't know. I don't know, man.
And just like, while we on this topic real quick, this is going to be a quick segment. But the transfer portal has hurt the two top college football teams badly in two different ways. Clemson, we lack talent. All our talent, if we need a 5-star guy, he's in the portal. Dabo is not allowing that.
I was gonna say you guys don't get anyone from the portal, right?
Yeah, we don't get anybody from the portal.
Right.
But you got teams like Alabama who's losing guys to the transfer portal because you got to think about it. Mac Jones, he sat behind Tua and Jalen Hurts, and that was before the transfer portal.
Yeah, Mac Jones is really bad, right?
I mean, he was a great college guy, but I'm saying, think about it. If Mac Jones had the opportunity to enter the portal, he could have went to Ohio State and change around the program. I'm just saying, transfer portal, it works in two different ways for Clemson and Alabama, which ultimately led to the downfall of both programs. Just simple.
I don't think it's I don't want to use the term downfall for either of the programs because again, Dabo's still the highest paid individual in the state of South Carolina, so he has to still be important and good at something. And then on top of Saban, I mean, Saban's name speaks for itself. So I don't want to say downfall for programs. Off years, is the sport evolving? Do those two teams need to evolve with the sport? Sure. But to sit there and say that they're falling franchises, I don't think so. Especially in the case of Alabama.
They're on decline, man. Georgia has won 2 straight natties. That used to be Alabama.
No, you're right. You're right about that.
Clemson has only been to the ACC championship one time in the past 3 years, and we're not going to make it this year.
And I agree with that. Obviously.
Heavy decline.
You just got to evolve with the sport, man.
We do.
You got to evolve with the sport. Once you guys evolve with the sport, I don't know if that really, in the case of Alabama, more so than you guys, maybe does Saban retire soon and they bring in someone who's
Dabo Swinney. I think he's an Alabama guy. I think he's going to go to Alabama after this.
That's an interesting take. I didn't know that. I could see that. Would you? Oh, hey, Clemson guy. Let's ask you this question.
Okay.
Your boy Cliff. Would you bring Cliff into Clemson?
I would. I love Cliff Kingsbury. He's a great offensive mind. He did wonders in Arizona, even though they didn't think so.
They didn't do anything, Gary. They were a terrible team.
How? I mean, they couldn't run the football. That's what they couldn't do. But they had an explosive air raid offense. They could throw.
Oh, here we go with the air raid offense again.
They could throw. They just couldn't run the football.
The air raid offense is almost as funny as the.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Steelers would love to have Cliff Kingsbury. 1,000%.
That'd be cool as an OC for sure. That anything other than Matt Canada for me would be great. But nah, guys, this was episode 2, Meigs and Money. I really appreciate everyone watching, and same time next week, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Hope YouTube allows it.
Of course. You guys be good, man.